All right, guys, so let's get this started. You're going to want to start off with a sheared tube top that is a stretch fabric. I got mine from Mandy's for $5. And basically the shearing effect gives that kind of like ruffled look if you wanted to know what shearing is. Now I am just going to get my cotton piece of fabric. I am only using one layer. I am not doubling it. And I'm just going to lay this out flat because I do need to explain how this process works. So obviously we know that the tube top is of a stretch fabric. If I were to just sew it onto the fabric straight up and down, odds are the seams would bust because the cotton fabric is not stretched. So to measure it, you need to stretch it to its fullest capability and double that, because that will be a realistic kind of measurement of how much fabric you're going to need, and also for your body type. That way when you go to put on the dress, none of the stitches and the seams pop. This is also going to be super helpful when we go to sew it, because you are going to have more of the cotton fabric than you are for the top, but that's essential to kind of give that ruffled bunching look on the dress. So you definitely want to make sure that that is something that you do. Do not sew this straight up and down. I'm telling you right now, when you go to put it on, something's gonna bust. So for the next step, you're going to want to fold the tube top in half with obviously measure the openings to the fabric. And the reason that we're going to fold this in half is because I want my seam to be in the back. So if I wanted it to be on the side, I wouldn't need to do this. I would just align it up regularly. But because I want the end piece, or where the opening will be, to be in the back, I need to align this in the middle so we don't have no problems when I go to sew it. And after I align the fabric, you're going to want to pin it down. Now, don't pin the whole thing down, because as there's a technique that you're going to do when you're sewing, but you can pin probably by section, and as you go, pin it down. I find that pinning helps me kind of stay straight when I'm sewing. My mom's really good at staying straight without seeing anything, but I need the pins because they help me line up. And if they're not there, I'm going to be real crooked. So when I go to do the stitch, I am going to be doing it on the first row of the top. If you see the sheared, right there where my finger is, that's what I'm going to be sewing on. So there's already a line there, and then with the pin's help, it'll be super duper straight. I shouldn't have any problems. Okay guys, now onto the sewing part. Now it's very important when you are sewing this on that you are stretching the top out. The same way I showed you guys in the beginning that you need to stretch it in order to measure it, you need to be doing that while you're sewing. Now for the bottom cotton piece, you don't need to stretch it out because it doesn't really give, but the top piece you need to do that, because that is what's going to help, like I said, create that bunching effect. And also you want to make sure that the tube top ends up being sewn on the entire piece of fabric, which is obviously already bigger, so you need to stretch it as you go. And then take your time, do this nice and slowly, go section by section. If you need to continue to pin as you move around, I would suggest that you do that. So this is it right now, guys. After sewing it, I do have to sew up the back, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm going to cut it and give it a finish, and moving on. All you have to do for this is just sew it straight up and down. A quick tip that my mom gave me is to iron the fabric and give it a crease, because it just gives you a clean line where you can follow it and just go straight down with no issues. I'm telling you, with my glasses, without my glasses, I really can't do straight lines. So it's really nice to have this finish again here on the bottom after I cut it, so that I have something to follow along with my mom as I am sewing. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more fashion and sewing videos, please do comment sewing down below. Just put sewing and I'll know what you're talking about. And I hope that this isn't too much of a challenge for you. I did want to show you that although it does require a sewing machine, it is fairly simple to do. So if you would like to take on the challenge of learning how to sew, you could be making a dress like this. I hope that you guys liked it. I'll see you next time in my next video.